What's going on, YouTube? Modeling that back at you with the next part in the OS2U Kingfisher build. So, as you can see, went ahead, been jumping around on this build, just kind of getting a lot of the big stuff done and out of the way, so it's all ready to go. So I have the main float, it's assembled here. Everything's pretty much filled, gap-wise as much as I can. There's a couple of slits here, but those are meant to be there for the for a couple of attachment points that I'll be adding later, just because they're small little details. Did have a pretty nasty seam. The one thing about this kit, for anybody getting it, that you should know in advance is a lot of the sprue gates. I'll see if I can find a prime example that I've not cut out yet. But a lot of the sprues are attached in kind of a weird way where on like the fuselage pieces and things like that, the sprues were actually overlaying the side of like the aircraft, things like that. So actually I'll grab again, I can't really find a great example, but just that's left on the sprue because again I've cut most of those off at this point. But it was kind of weird in the sense that the flat edge that ran along the side actually is what had the ejection mold piece. If you look at a review of the kit, I'm sure somebody points it out. That is one thing for sure. Definitely kind of an annoyance, and actually caused me a little bit of a headache here on the top of the main float, just because when I sanded it back I got a nice little nasty gap. So went ahead, filled that in with some styrene card. Not done a test of paint yet, but pretty confident that's going to just fill great, no problems, anything like that. I do still have some photo etch that will be going on to this. Kind of moving on to the photo etch. As you can see here, been started tonight working on the seat belt. So I have the first belt complete. Only 4 more to go, and if I can lock that in, try to get it to lock in on my finger or something. There we go. You can see the belt. So you do have the actual little tiny buckles, things like that. These are all individual parts. So a little fiddly. Best thing that I found to do is take the belts here, fold them in half. Gently fold them around in half after sliding on the buckle, the first down to this end, bend it in half, slide the buckle to the middle, then bend it out, and then just using a pair of pliers. Again, make sure they don't have any teeth so you don't mar the surface. Then you can take and straighten them back out. They actually look really nice. So I'm going to go through and paint this a khaki color, just to be the right color for the belts. But yeah, first attempt at doing photo etch belts, and actually like them for the most part. I do have to admit the kit parts, if you don't want to buy the big edge set, are more than sufficient for the roll. They do actually have some really nice stitching detail here on the ends, both ends of them and things like that. So I'm missing one as I cut one out because I was going to use these belts initially, but as I got to looking at it, went ahead and opted just to use 100% of the Eduard set. So outside of that, I've been working, like I said, in just kind of a hopscotch pattern all around on this build. So I have some stuff here all ready for paint. Part dropped off wherever it went. Well, it's a big piece, so I don't have to worry too much. But again, some of these we've seen in the last one, but I got the engines fully assembled. Again, the parts are pretty fiddly. In fact, I busted one here trying to get it off, so just replace that with a little piece of wire. To be honest, once it's painted up, you don't even see the difference. As well as on this here, the annoying thing is, definitely watch the instructions. These have the little tiny pieces of plastic that are support braces. As you can see, they're missing from the other two sides because I thought it was a piece of flash. Definitely watch this kit, because if you're not careful, You will remove parts thinking that it's flash when it's not, and it's not really 100% like in tune or in line with what makes logical sense. So again, just be a little bit careful, things like that. And then also have the first part of the firewall complete. So got that all done. Biggest bit of work tonight has been with the wings and the fuselage halves as well. So got those all out, got them separated, and was just kind of doing a fitment check. If you are building the float plane version and not the land-based version, one thing that is not mentioned early enough in the instructions, and I'm glad I've looked ahead, is you actually do have to cut out 3 holes here on the bottom. But once you do that, the floats fit nicely into them, and shouldn't be too bad. Again, just a quick little test fitting. Test fitting is a big thing for sure on these, but the one thing I have to admit I absolutely love about this is the wing roots on this are absolutely beautiful. No issues whatsoever. Tiniest little bits of gap. But again, I mean, to be honest, I'll probably sand that just a tiny bit more before I actually attach it on. But even once it's locked in here on the top, bottom doesn't have like a massive gap. It just looks absolutely beautiful for the wing roots. So again, just kind of a little test fit of everything. Do have both of the wings fully completed. So decent sized aircraft for sure, especially for 32nd scale. So about a foot long, but yeah, not too bad. Then last part, I also got the outer floats done. They're just in a box up here. So got the 2 outer floats all together. Those went together really nicely. No real problems at all on any of that. And then what took me the most amount of time tonight was all of the 2-part stabilizers. And I don't think they were ailerons. I can't remember the exact verbiage. Time changes definitely affected my brain. So in either case, got those completed. A couple of other little tiny pieces like this one complete as well. The other thing to note is definitely make sure if you're building the float plane version, you do go ahead and open up the holes. Outer 4 here are for the floats themselves, and then these here are for the bomb racks, which looked up a couple of reference photos for the aircraft I'm doing, and they did actually utilize the bomb racks on that, so I'm going to go ahead and build them up, especially given that on the exterior Eduard set I do have some really nice bomb detail as well with the impeller for the primer and stuff like that. Or I know, obviously, or the propeller for when it was dropping and things like that. They had them on them. I believe it was actually for the fuse side of things. So yeah, definitely proceeding quite nicely. Probably be getting most of the interior built up, ready for paint, and then we'll be continuing on getting those all situated and on with the details of interior, get it all buttoned up and stuff like that, and then get this thing ready to go into some primer probably within the next week or so. So definitely moving along quite quick, even though I'm adding a lot of extra detail to this kit with the Eduard set. Not taking a lot of extra time to add all of that extra nice little detail. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Bit of a longer update here. It actually encompassed a couple of build nights. So if you like these longer parts, definitely let me know. If you'd rather be short little quick updates, less than a minute or two, let me know that. Let me know that as well. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.